have heard what's going on in the trans community, people who are non-binary. A lot is going on right now as, once again, the United States of America's president, Donald J. Trump, has announced more horrible, straight up discriminatory, bigoted, closed-minding things. So, hashtag we won't be erased. Outcry over memo proposing U.S. transgender change. I'm reading this from www.bbcnews.com. And the reason why I went to bbc.com instead of just an American-based news source is so people watching this video can see what people in other countries and how they're viewing this catastrophe of human rights going on in the United States of America, which this country claims to be for justice, liberty for all, when clearly that has never been the case since the inception of this country, okay? So anyways, I'm gonna read some of this and then give my perspective and viewpoint on it. There has been an outpouring of anger in the U.S. from politicians, celebrities, and human rights groups over a report alleging the U.S. policy on gender recognition could be changed. A report in the New York Times on Sunday said a government memo proposed officially defining gender as biological and fixed, even though many of us in the social sciences, in the social justice arena, realize that gender is not biological, nor is it fixed. Anyways, the change would rescind previous policy which eased trans recognition. Instead, it would define gender solely on the genitalia people are born with. The administration of former President Barack Obama adopted a definition of gender in federal policy which made it easier to allow individual choice and self-determination. The change sparked a number of complex and long-running legal challenges in conservative states in areas like the use of toilets. That's right, people simply wanting to urinate or take a number 2, go to the bathroom. The Trump administration has previously tried to roll back transgender recognition in areas such as military and in schools, but it has not commented on the latest report. Okay, if you remember, in 2017, Donald Trump signed a transgender military ban. Trump rescinds Obama-era transgender bathroom rules. Just to, if you remember these things, activists fear the changes allegedly being proposed could in effect define out of existence Americans who currently identify as transgendered, a community who are said to number at least 1.4 million people. Transgender and gender non-conforming people have been sharing their personal stories in response to the report using the hashtag #WeWon'tBeErased. What do media reports say? The news report published by the New York Times on Sunday said a memo. Okay, so again, I'm going to leave a link to this off of www.bbc.com, and I just want to give my viewpoint on it, you know, my 2 cents. So those of you who have been on my channel recently know that almost 2 weeks ago, October 11th, on National Coming Out Day, I came out the closet as trans masculine, gender fluid, gender queer. And here I am a week and a half later, and this horrible news is being brought to my attention. I first heard about it literally yesterday, October 21st, on Sunday when it broke. And once again, we're seeing how there is no liberty and justice for all in the United States of America. And if we really want to be historical about it, it never was. And me, I'm a part of multiple marginalized identities, being a person of color, being black, being trans masculine, genderqueer, gender fluid, the list goes on, of the marginalized communities that I'm a part of and the marginalized identities that are a part of me. And I'm a social justice activist, advocate, political activist, organizer. So for me, this is horrible news. However, life has never really been easy for people who are a part of marginalized communities. So in many ways, this is just another reminder to me and people like me that we have a long way to go, and we really haven't made as much progress as some of us like to think we have. Because in the year 2018, the fact that we're still having discussions about how people individually choose to identify is ridiculous. And here it is, I literally basically lived 26 years basically in the closet, not able to express who I am, how I felt, how I wanted to identify. And then recently coming out the closet, October 11th. So yes, hashtag we won't be erased. Like, this is how I identify. This is how over 1.4 million people identify. And we exist, and we've always existed. Again, looking at other cultures, there has always been people who were gender fluid, gender queer, gender non-conforming. There have always been different gender customs and norms depending on culture and religious practices, which proves that gender itself is a social construction, and it's not fixed and it's not biological, because in other cultures, men wear dresses and it's completely normal. Where in the US, if a person is to wear a dress and they are viewed as being a man, they might be looked at differently or disrespected or disowned and such. So again, gender itself is a social construction. It's on a spectrum. It's very fluid. And there are people who are not gender non-conforming, or they're non-binary. So they don't believe in this idea that there is a man and a woman, or masculine and feminine. There are people who exist who are gender non-conforming. There are people who are trans masculine, trans femme, and there's so many different ways of acting out gender and performing gender. So we won't be erased. We've always existed. We're going to be here, and we're going to continue to be here. And there will be more people like us in the future as well. And this is just another reminder to people that it might be 2018 and we might be only a few months away from 2019, but we still have a long way to go when we talk about equity, inclusion, justice, freedom, and rights for all. Because as it stands today, there are entire communities, as you can see, who do not have the same protections, the same liberties, the same justice, the same rights and opportunities to live and thrive and prosper. Like, we are literally fighting to survive in a world that's constantly telling us that we don't exist, that we don't matter, and that we're basically second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth, ninth, 10th class citizens. It's really ridiculous. But as the activist in me is like, I'm gonna continue to push forward, regardless of how you view me and what you think of me, because I know who I am. I'm out of the closet, and I'm proud to say who I am. And I lived 26 years in silence in the closet, and I'm out the closet now, and I'm going to speak out loudly, and I'm going to be proud of who I am and continue to thrive. And I'm going to help other family members and community members and people do the same. And that's my 2 cents on this. Hashtag we won't be erased.